Mike Blum in the studio here at 710 KURV. He and other business folks and other leaders opposing an idea to put a median on 10th Street between Trenton and University. That'd be 107. Is this a done deal already, Mike?
Well, pardon me. It's a done deal in that TxDOT's going out for bids in about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And so it may be a done deal. We're hopeful that the City Commission at their next regular meeting, which is Monday the 26th, will hear some concerns of those of us who have expressed concern.
Okay.
And take an action that would slow it down long enough for there to be an actual public hearing where people actually get to say something and there's actually a two-way conversation and new information is presented that might cause them to rethink that project.
There's a petition being distributed, right? An anti-median petition?
Well, there's a petition that's been circulated, and there's nearly 600 signatures on it.
Can you get it to the commission in time?
No, it's already been delivered.
Okay.
What needs to happen on the City Commission outside of them just sitting there and listening to you? What needs to take place?
Somebody needs to make a motion, and 4 people need to vote.
Do you have a friend on the commission?
Withdraw
withdraw the project or to stop the project.
Who might that be on the commission?
We don't know.
Are you working, or is the group working with someone
The
trying to convince?
politics are being worked, but it's very difficult.
Okay. Why is it so difficult? If you have 600 business people and North McAllen residents that say no, I'm guessing the city commissioner in that area is in favor of the median.
Correct.
Okay. So you need another city commissioner from another part of town to make a motion to table this or put the kibosh on this.
Right.
And why are you opposed?
Well, there's a whole lot of reasons for those of us who have taken a position in opposition. The first of which is there has never been a study on 10th Street from Trenton to 107 that says a median is a good idea. There are studies that the TxDOT has done around the state and around the country that argue when traffic volumes reach a certain point, it's a good thing to put in medians to reduce the number of left turn accidents.
Yeah.
That the median itself creates
I don't recall hearing of a rash of left turn accidents in that part of town.
Well,
and I traverse that part of town quite frequently.
It's interesting you said that. Neither have we. And the data that was provided to us that shows there's this rash of accidents from 2008 to 2011, there were 212 accidents in that stretch. Well, that's 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. It's 4 years of data. What the data doesn't show is what time of day did the accident occur, where did it occur, who was the cause of the accident. Was it a true left turn accident, or was it a head on or a back end? Or
it's that area you said. We're talking about
that stretch of 10th Street.
Well, might these medians be a proactive measure because the population is only going to increase in that area?
Well, there's some truth to that, but let me bring you a couple of pearls. Between Nolana and Dove, there are 67 curb cuts on 10th Street, not including the intersections, the streets that intersect. Just curb cuts. Between Dove and Trenton, there are 40. Between Trenton and Northgate is only 18. And there's not likely to be a whole lot more because TxDOT and the city have adopted access management rules which limit the number of curb cuts that can occur. You can't have one every 30 or 40 feet like they used to in the old days. It's one every 450 feet. And there are other measures that the city and state have put in place that minimize the number of left turn opportunities, none of which are part of this consideration.
Local businessman Mike Blum in studio, and he is representing a group. He says it's about 600 strong, folks who are opposed to a North 10th Street median that might be going out for bids in a couple of weeks in McAllen. It's pretty much a done deal, but they need somebody on the city commission to put a stop to this for now. Let's start talking about this 10th Street median. Let's get some more history on this, Mike. How did this median come about to begin with? Who Who created this idea? Who brought it about? Because I think it may have been happening while you and I were talking about something completely different. A long time ago, we were distracted by other city politics because all of a sudden it's like, what? We got a median coming up in McAllen? Who introduced this?
On the city commission agenda in June, there was a consent agenda item. And the consent agenda item was in an interlocal agreement between TxDOT and the city to authorize the city of McAllen to participate in funding the construction of a median between between Trenton and 107. It was a consent item, which means if nobody objects, it's just approved automatically.
Along with a whole bunch
Along
of others
with
on
27
the
other
agenda.
items.
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know how much discussion, dialogue there was between city staff and city management and city elected officials prior to that agenda item. But whatever it was, it was. But what's more important is that the people who are affected by the decision, namely the business owners and the property owners along this stretch of 10th, there was no public notice of a public hearing, a real public hearing, not a TxDOT public hearing, which is an entirely different animal.
You know what we missed? We missed Scott Crane. Scott Crane would have seen this in the interlocal agreement. And,
he'd have been all over it.
He'd have been, but we were in flux in leadership there.
His election,
and those
or the election to
prior to
replace
that.
him,
Yeah.
had taken place
That's what happened.
shortly before this agenda item. But had he been alive, it would have been.
He would have seen it. He would have read the agenda months before and realized it was coming, would have said something. But because we were
I
in
worked with
flux,
Scott a lot in 2007 on the Nolana median project, or the ending of the Nolana median project. And I can tell you that Scott Crane had very strong opinions about medians.
Well, yeah. Well, let's talk medians for a moment. The medians that are on Ware Road, maybe 5-6 years old.
Right.
Folks and businesses, from my standpoint, seem to be handling those okay. What's the difference between the medians on Ware Road and the ones proposed for North 10th, or can you even compare those two stretches of road?
It appears from the drawings, pardon me, that the medians themselves will be the same or similar to the Ware Road medians. But what's important to know about the Ware Road median is between Expressway 83 and 3 Mile, economic impact of the median has been devastating.
Really?
Nope. There have been one, maybe 2 building permits.
Yeah.
On Ware Road.
Take a look at the construction on Ware as compared to North 10th in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't compare.
There is no comparison.
In your opinion, has it suppressed construction?
It's suppressed not only construction, but it's suppressed development.
And it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it does.
All the construction went over to Sherry and Mission.
It went someplace else.
Yeah.
It went someplace
You
else.
see the growth, Gangbuster and other places that.
Yeah, it's almost like a conspiracy to move development to somewhere other part of town.
Okay, so if you don't get a motion, what, next week is a done deal?
26th, yeah.
Is a done deal.
I'm afraid it is a done deal. I mean, there are other things that could happen, but all we can do is hope that cooler heads will prevail and there will be an opportunity. I can tell you that the largest developer in town and the largest owner of property in the vicinity, Weingarten Realty, which recently acquired the Trenton Crossing Shopping Center, will be there.
Okay.
And they've already expressed their concerns. And it's not that they're opposed. It's just they don't know what the impact's going to be on their property. Remember, the median is intended to prohibit left turn movements in the area where the median currently is located. But the way it's designed, if you're a customer in the Trenton Crossing Shopping Center and you want to leave Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or Logan's Roadhouse or Olive Garden or any one of the retail stores, and you want to go south on 10th, you're going to have to drive north to some other place to find a U-turn place.
Well, you talk about a crazy area of town, crazy traffic area of town. You want to imagine what it would do, a median would do to something like that. Why don't you just put a median right there next to the mall on 10th Street south of the freeway and see what happens? Because
I made that comment at Citizens
no
League lunch a month
So what are you
ago.
asking for now? Just kind of a pause? Maybe we can get a public hearing somewhere along the way then?
Ideally would be, one, a pause, and secondly is what I call a real public hearing. If you apply for a zoning change on a piece of property to convert it to commercial from some other zone, notices are sent out to every property owner within 200 feet. Public hearings are called, and the Planning and Zoning Commission hears presentations pro and con on a given zoning change. And then there's discussion, and then they vote, and they approve or they disapprove. It then goes to the City Commission with another public hearing. So there's 2 opportunities for the public to weigh in on it, and that's just not happened.
How do they contact you, Mike, you or anybody in the group, this group that is opposing the 10th Street median?
Well, I'm a pretty public guy, so I don't mind telling you. My cell phone number is
You got a Facebook page?
956-451-5596. I'm on Facebook. I'm on all kind of internet-related stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Snapchat as well.
Pardon me?
Snapchat.
No Snapchat.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not doing Snapchat.
That's the one for the kids.
NAI, Rio Grande Valley.
There we go. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Keep us informed. That's Mike Blum. Again, about 600 strong opposing the North 10th Street median.